but nothing special tonight, just an old DVD recorder that is completely dead. Sorry, the computer has just rebooted again. How strange. Okay, so we're staying on this camera. I've already taken the screws out, as you can see. And everything has to come out. So the DVD drive here has got to come out. The VHS assembly can stay in. The power supply underneath has to come out. And I'm going to stick in a new chip. You can see where it's got rather hot down here. Well, there should be a SOP8 chip down there. And there isn't. And that's because I took it out and I tested it. And I wanted to see what number was on it to see if I'd got some in stock. And I have. So I'm just going to stick a new chip in there and see if the machine comes back to life. It's a bit of an ache to disassemble these machines, as I'm sure you can appreciate if ever you've worked on anything like this before. And I'll show you the model number. It may interest you, it may not. But it's a DMRES30V. VHS and DVD recording. Obviously standard definition and obviously terribly old. And also terribly broken. But it gets hot just there. I'm sure you can see. And the reason there's 8 holes is there's a SOP8 chip that's burnt out there. And I'm just going to stick a new SOP8 chip in and see if this machine comes back to life. These machines these days, as good as they are, they're much better than Panasonic's later machines. But these machines really have got no value and they're not worth spending too much time on. It's just that it's a Saturday night and it's been raining. So I've decided I want to do something tonight. Don't really want to repair a television. I'm all TV'd out, as they say. So what I'm going to do is dismantle this, put a new chip in. I've got plenty of them in stock because I used to use these machines all the time. There we go. Or there we go. I used to use these machines all the time when I did duplicating, and I still use them occasionally, but I've got some upgraded ones now for duplicating. But it's nice to have a couple of these as a backup. And as I said, I've got the chips in stock. So all I'm going to do is stick a chip in and see if it comes back to life. It may do, it may not. We're going to have to wait and see. The first thing I'm going to have to do is just, as per usual, take the front off. And then start the dismantling process. I've obviously had this machine dismantled to take the chip out, as you've no doubt realised. So that's the front off. Now I'm going to take this out. And that should be easy enough. It's just some screws down here. Is that one of them? Possibly. My screwdriver is not very magnetic tonight, so I'm just going to change that. one at the back. Right, I should get the assembly out. Did I plug everything back in? I did. Okay. So, DVD RAM assembly out. Then get the bottom plate out. Well, I've taken 2 of the screws out already. The sad thing is, if I'm being honest, that even if I get this working, it may never get used again. And as I say, there's no value in these anymore. They've got no monetary value anymore. Well, a working one, I suppose, is about 40-50 quid. But just great machines when working. Very reliable. I mean, these are going to be 15 years old now, and this is just when they start to fail. Sometimes the caps go on them. I haven't got a cap problem on this. I think I've replaced a cap before. I'm not wearing a microphone, by the way. I just realised I'm talking. I'm not wearing a microphone, but I'm just hoping the microphones are good enough to pick up what I'm saying. So my apologies if it all sounds a bit echoey and distant tonight. That is it. The fan screws do not have to come out. And then that can just... It's behaving like there's still a screw stuck in somewhere, but I can't see it. 2 fan screws out. All the screws are out for there. No, just wants a wiggle. Anyway, back plate off. And then we just get the board out. It's only a couple of screws for the board. That just clips in here. There we go, that is it. All we're going to do is stick one of those chips right in there. Hopefully you can see it's kind of going in there. I don't know if I cleaned the pins and the pads from last time. Possibly I did. Helps if you switch your soldering iron on, apparently. There is a polarity of the chip, obviously, which you can probably see there's a little indentation. Just there at the bottom. But it's in. Now just got to put the blooming machine back together again.
Very important not to forget this screw. Well, I say very important, it'll probably work fine without it, but it's whenever I buy second-hand machines for parts, it's always that screw that's missing, because people just have this silver screw left at the end and they don't know where it goes. Well, it goes in there. I'm not going to put the lid on yet. This IC that I've put in is a high voltage regulator. It takes the mains voltage coming in, and then after the bridge rectifier, it sends 350 volts in to the chip, and then we've got a 5 volts coming out, a 15 volts coming out, and something else. And as we can see, hallelujah, it's actually working.
There we go. Looks like the front screen is not so good on this one, but it's as bright as I need it to be. I'd love to test it on this wonderful TV here, which of course I use for a monitor. Oops. But I don't think this plasma has a SCART on it. You would think a plasma had a SCART, but I've got a funny feeling this is one of the later models that stopped. I'm got to be wrong. That's got to have a SCART. We'll have a look in a second. Now, I'm sure you're dying to know, just like me, if this TV, this old plasma, has got a SCART on it. The reason why I need it to have a SCART is, of course, the machine that we've just repaired does not have an HDMI. It is an old machine. I'm looking for a year on this. I would have said about 2015. No, older than that. What are you talking about? Probably 2010. But there's no year on it. Anyway. Oh, this TV is so warm, so hot, baby. But we have no SCART. We have no SCART. Okay, but while I'm here, can we just take a note of the model number of this TV, because I need to get a remote control for it. There it is. TXP42GT60B. It's the one we repaired about a month ago. Now you're probably thinking, why do you want a remote from this? All Panasonic remotes do the same. Well, do they? Not on this case, I don't think. We'll go looking in a second. Let me just put that back there. Because I have a hard drive here, which I'm recording. It's not recording at the moment because the blue light is static. And I've been recording all the snooker for the last 2 weeks. But I can't watch any of it. And in the menu of the TV, it doesn't allow me, there's no playback function. From memory, there is a special button on the remote control which gets you into the playback function. I've got plenty of Panasonic remotes, obviously. My God, look at the app still on this.
All right, calm down, Fatty. I'm just going to interject here, and I've just gone on eBay to have a look for the remote control for this model, and it's exactly the same remote control I've got in my hand. So I'm missing out on something here. I didn't realise this TV was a 3D TV. Sure, I've got some 3D glasses. I may have an old vintage night of 3D movies in the workshop. Why not? Anyway, so what am I doing wrong? Why can't I access the hard drive it's recording to? I can record to it, just can't play it back. I'm doing something wrong. Got to think about this. Because this remote control that they're selling as a genuine Panasonic for the model number is exactly the same remote control I've got in my hand. No special button. So there's obviously something special going off in my brain which I've forgotten about. It's got to be in that menu somewhere. I'll go searching.
YouTube, Netflix and iPlayer. I don't believe they're still going to be working. Oh, we must do I'm going to do a separate video on that. We must test them and see. But I've got a funny feeling that that's going to say no. But in the menu, you can go to Setup, and there's Recording Setup, and USB device setup, but that's just the basic functions for the TV, for the recording, setting it up. I want to be able to play it back, and I'm sure there is a button on the original remote. I'm sure there's a button on the original remote which enables me to play it back, but anyway. So I can't test this on this TV, and this is the only TV I have here that I can test things on, really. But it's back working again, take my word for it. But the next video will be about, I shall plug this into the Ethernet, internet, and we'll find an original remote. I'll probably have to buy one. Gasp. Otherwise I can't watch any of the content I've recorded on that, and that's just not cricket. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye bye.